All right, so this is the second session of Cryptomancer for the Gauntlet Hangouts Thursday. We did the first session last time trying out this game about fantasy hacking, and we got to a good break point where the mission is kind of in their hands. And what we're going to do is I'm going to very quickly go over the basics for anyone who might be watching, and to say where we're at. And then I'm going to have you guys introduce yourselves, and then we'll talk about some picks that you guys are going to have from rewards. So basically, you're in a city-state. There are 5 nobles. You guys are on the run from the Risk Eaters, the cabal behind the scenes. And he's given you protection, Lord Glower. He asked you to go and pick up something from a dead drop, and it was clearly compromised, but you were able to escape that pursuit. You brought that note to Glower, and Glower was shocked. He told the story of how he had placed a spy in the house of one of his rivals, and that spy had given information that rival had done something and sort of shifted the important vote of another rival. And it had to do with the sort of family crypt in the Castle Iraq. And the problem that he's discovered is he needs to know that information, but it also looks like his spy, the person that he put in the castle, Vana, has been compromised. And one of the 2 notes you got, the earlier note that Glower gave you, suggests that she knew she was under watch. And one thing she did was she was able to essentially extract another servant's passphrase, which she provided the identity of that servant, details on that, and the details of the passphrase. So what Glower wants is to know what went on in the crypt of Castle Iraq, what's going on there, and he also wants his spy rescued. The group looked more favorably on the second half of that. The first half would be, it would just happen if you could do that. So tonight, you're going to need to obviously get information, find things out to be able to do your infiltration. So there's going to be kind of a legwork phase, to quote the Sprawl. This game calls that sort of actions, and they also have sort of a downtime mechanic. You've got kind of a soft time limit in that there are some things going on. The security may get changed and so on. So you want to keep that in mind, but we'll come back to that point. And the first thing I'm going to do after I'm going to have you each introduce yourselves very briefly is I'm going to give you some strategic assets, some resources that you can spend to buy things. And if we need to take a bio break, or if because I have a horrible Hoosier accent and talk too fast, you don't get what I'm saying, please feel free to stop me and say that at any point during this session. So let's have you introduce and kind of give a real quick overview of each of your characters. Sherry, you're running Rook, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. And tell us the deal on Rook.
Okay, Rook is a former constable, and she's a cryptomancer. She has a good deal of cryptomancy, the magic for understanding and identifying what's going on with the crypto crystals and shards, and she's willing to hit people.
Okay, fair enough. And Deltra, Michael?
Yeah, sure. So Deltra is sort of a more sneaky, out of the limelight and the shadows agent. She likes to do the job and get away without ever leaving a trace.
All right. And distinctly unremarkable is what I have written down in my note here. So
distinctly unremarkable, yes.
All right. And Jason, Akka?
Akka is an elf. She hasn't proven herself too able yet in combat, but she's very passionate. She cares about things deeply and intensely and quickly. Right now she has kind of a little thing going on with Deltra, but who knows how long that's going to last. So
awesome. So you three have been given the details. Here is sort of the basics of what you know, is that Castle Rock, the household of Lord Rock, is not inside the city, but is outside the city walls, is actually on a hill. It's kind of a large, dilapidated castle. It's actually in the woods a little ways outside of town. They're old and paranoid. They throw their wealth around. They have a lot of enemies. They don't actually usually send their own people into town. They have emissaries that go in to handle their business in town. So that's the basics you have. You can also assume that Lord Glower has given you basic blue sort of floor plans that he's been able to get from his agent. So at any point, you can assume you know the basics of the layout. Okay, that's just a given. And he would tell you that the passphrase that you've been given, how it works is that servants come to the outer gate of the castle. They give the passphrase at a shard there, and that's simply confirmed by the admin that's a proper passphrase. Servants then walk from there through the courtyard, through the area outside to the castle proper. There's a gate there where more rigorous testing is done. Essentially, that they check and make sure that this person looks like who they're supposed to be. You know, same species, age, gender, that kind of thing. And then that's checked against the admin. The other important security detail he would have given you is that servants, soldiers, guards, they have particular sashes that they wear to identify their rank and where they're supposed to be within the castle, and you would have the information on those, essentially details and descriptions of that. So the game has a system called strategic assets, which allow you to buy things to do like underground cells and agitators and all of that kind of stuff. It's a big table of things for sort of long-term play. That's reduced down here for your options. You have 2 strategic assets at your disposal, and they can be spent on a couple of different things. You could, one is an echo collective. That means essentially experts in a particular field that you can consult on a topic that you've made arrangements on, and it could be like shard security, or it can be on martial affairs or history or whatever. You just assign that when you decide that's what you want. Scouts can aid travel, and they can also check out a location. They can case a place, so they can be used like rangers, foresters, that kind of thing. And finally, a spy can be hired to more specifically case out an area. Probably can't get into the castle itself, but if there's someplace else you want to check out or something else you want to follow up on, you can call on them. And of course, you can also do your own legwork. Does anyone have any questions before I throw it to you?
Yeah, you had mentioned that you figured out how magic was supposed to roll.
Yes. So when you do a skill roll for magic, you're always using your willpower. That's the stat. I thought it might be that, but it took me a bit to kind of dig that out. It's not written in a global statement. Instead, it's written on each individual spell. It says that it uses willpower. So I kind of missed that. So yeah, you'll always be rolling willpower for any magical checks. You also have 4 essentially fates. You can use that when you're rolling dice. If you get botches on your fate dice, essentially the D6s, you can spend one of those 4 points to eliminate that from a roll. You have 4 total for the group. I'm assuming we take up with the group essentially planning, looking over drawings and maps and such there in the basement of Gumbo Craig's shop. Strong tea has been brought. Crusty rolls and butter are set out beside it, and you're kind of looking and planning out and thinking about that. So let's go to there, and can ask me questions, tell me what you're thinking, or you can talk amongst yourselves.
Now, you said that we had a basic sense of the layout of the estate, right?
Yes. Yes.
Let's see here. But you also say that they're paranoid. Would it be possible to actually get more information about, like, the ancestral vaults, where those are located, any alternate routes to those, that sort of thing? I'm thinking, I don't know, dwarven builders.
Okay. Yeah. If you wanted, that could be your legwork thing. If you want to go and check and follow either dwarven builders or former employees, things like that. If you'd like that as your go through. Do we want to do that, or do we want to establish what each person is doing before we move to that kind of go around?
Oh, I think that's fine. I would rather hear what everyone else is doing, and then if they come up with something brilliant that needs assistance, I'm willing to go.
I'm okay with working with Rook on getting this information. That seems like a pretty critical piece of information. So,
okay.
With that.
All right. And what about you, Deltra?
It's always good to have a plan B, guys. So I think I'll go and I want to kind of see if there's any way that Deltra will be able to infiltrate the maids and the servants and basically blend in that way, and then maybe Rook and Akka can come in from a secret way.
Okay. So let's start with Rook and Akka, and this is kind of an investigation check, and we can do this with query. That seems to be the sort of general investigation to find out. And essentially, you're going to get some basic information, but your number of successes total between the two of you will give you sort of additional follow-up questions. That's my usual method. The game has it very generally, but I like to do that sort of PBTA style questioning. So why don't you both roll query?
Thank you for choosing the thing I'm worst at.
Yeah, no, that's like my worst thing too. Okay, so to remind, we get we get a number of d10s equal to the rating plus d6 is equaling up total to 5, right?
Yep.
Of dice. Okay, make sure I have that right. Let's see what we've got here. Fire up dice stream real quickly.
So that looks like with a difficulty of 6, that's going to be 1 success for you, Sherry.
Yeah. Thanks, 1.
I have 1 as well.
Okay. So who's your source, Sherry?
My source? I would think that it would be, let's see here. Was there such a family that lived in that castle area before then, even if we went back a ways?
No, they've been there for forever. You might find...
oh, God, they're vampires. Okay.
Seen this movie before.
But let's do a tangent on that. Since they do have a lot of employees, you can find maybe a family that got kind of kicked out, that broke security and did that. So you will talk with a guy named Adelbert, Adelbert Zia, and he was a teen when his family got kicked out, and he's still pretty angry about that. And so the basic information that you'll get is he'll tell you that they really keep tight eyes on some of the inner courtyards. The guard patrols are a little tighter there. They look for open doors, that kind of thing. They're moving around. But you have to get to that inner complex to get down to the crypts. It's not like those are guarded, because it's a fairly, even as a kid, it was just terrifying to me. There's a great old stone set of stairs that go from a kind of an inner courtyard down into the crypts down below. So you've got to get to that inner atrium courtyard. That actually goes up to the sky.
It does.
Yes.
Do they have patrols on the roofs?
On the walls, the roofs are a difficult scale there. It'd be nearly impossible to put guards moving along there.
Hmm.
And I lean in and I say, Adelbert.
Yeah.
And I brush some hair out of your face so I get a really good look in your eyes. And I say, who do you know that was responsible for constructing the vault that we might be able to speak to?
Oh, I don't know. That's old stuff down there. I do know they had to bring a dwarf in when they had some shifting. The dwarf had to go down and do some repairs down in the vault. Let me think. A guy named Mudrick, the dwarf. He's the only person I know who might have a kind of a builder's sense of things.
Hmm.
Awesome.
I turn to Rook and I say, Dwarven made vault. That promises to be challenging to get into. Dwarves aren't worth much, but building strong constructs is one of the things they're very good at, and I don't mind saying that.
She nods. And if we're lucky, all he did was do some slapdash repairs. So, all right.
So we'll
And
we'll
she
say
sort of stops and she turns around and she turns back and she goes, and how did Modric react to, I mean, was he frightened when he came up?
No, he's a dwarf. They don't show their reactions. I understand he got paid a pretty penny, but he got out of there pretty fast.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks. And we pay him a pretty penny by his.
Okay. So we'll establish you've got 2 successes there. Is there any follow-up question you want to ask more generally?
Of him?
In general, is there a general piece of information follow-up question you want to have answered?
If Modric is around, I'd like to know if he's around, if he's in this community or what. If not, let it go.
So we'll say the extra success goes to essentially a connecting clue that you're able to find that Modric, the dwarves are long-lived. They are still around. The thing that strikes you about Modric is he is a dwarf without a clan. And he has kind of a reputation for taking shady work. So you'll be able to get his location and get the basic information about him.
And I look to Rook and I say, but that means his work will be good because he has something to prove.
I wouldn't have thought of it that way.
Trust me, Rook. The dwarven psyche on the surface is very, very is very plain and simple, and you wouldn't think they're up to much, but they are more complex creatures than you might imagine.
Really? Big wide eyes.
Let's cut to Deltra. You are trying to find out what? What's your goal here?
I think I'm just looking for, Deltra really likes to be on the scene. She doesn't like getting reports and not having a chance to check out the situation herself beforehand because she's afraid, reports are wrong, reports are lies, whatever it might be. So she'd be a lot more comfortable if she could, scope out the situation for herself, which is why she's hoping to infiltrate the castle.
All right.
Beforehand.
So how do you plan on doing that?
I think because she's so plain, I think she's hoping to just kind of fit in with the rest of the maids and other servants.
The problem you have is you've got that 2-gate security. So I just want to make sure you're clear on that everybody who comes in is going to have a security gate check at the main gate with the passphrase, and then going to have a second security check at the inner gate.
So when she, she kind of goes to scope out the scene. I'm standing outside the gates. I'm watching. This is where the maids.
You're probably not standing outside the gates. Probably a ways away because it is an isolated castle out in the forest.
True. So I'm witnessing covertly somehow.
Okay.
Maids servants entering the castle. Do they live in the quarters? Do they commute? What am I witnessing here?
It looks like there are a certain portion of servants that are on the grounds, sort of longer term. And then there are specialists that clearly come back and forth. You have the sense the older servants. And you will probably, at least at one point, spot this that you have the passphrase for, that is Servant Lauren. And she is old and crotchety. And you have the sense that she gets to come back and forth because she has been there so long.
Right.
And so you can spot that. And it's certainly, there are clearly some times of the day that the servants come in, essentially just before dusk and just after dawn are sort of the changing of those servants. Does that give you kind of what you wanted to know there?
Yeah.
Okay. So what else do you want to do with that?
So I'm trying to remember from our note with Servant Lauren, the old and mean one.
Mm-hmm.
So her passphrase is the one that lets her get into the castle?
Yeah. So that passphrase is the passphrase she will use at that first gate shard.
Oh, okay. So if I wanted to, I could potentially disguise myself as her magically and use her passphrase to get into the castle.
You'd certainly need to make sure that she is not on site when that happens.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to kind of tail her and see where she lives and maybe some of her mannerisms or patterns of speech and just kind of get to know.
So this seems to me like, let's have you make a deception check. And this will establish the kind of level of disguise that you can assume for her.
Okay.
And insight into mannerisms and all of that.
Cool.
Oh.
My complaining cat, sorry.
Oh, okay. No, I thought that was ours. So.
And what's the difficulty with that?
So let's say a 6 on this. It's average.
Okay.
So that's 2 successes for you.
Yep.
So that's pretty good. She's old. She's crotchety. She's got a gap in her tooth, so there's a lot of sounds when she talks. People stay away from her. She's well known in her neighborhood, and you can see the distinctive, headscarf that she wears and outfits, and so you'll get all of that and be able to ape and mimic that. And you will also know where she lives. Does that seem cool? All right.
Very cool.
All right. Shall we cut back to Rook and Akka?
Yes.
Who wants to take the lead in talking to this dwarf?
Where do we find him?
So you will track him back down. And again, I described the city as having multi-level sort of construction going on all over the place. Lots of buildings and things like that. And you will find him essentially in a building that has fallen apart. He's down in the foundations of it. He's clearly been hired to kind of do an assessment of what can be reclaimed, and salvaged from this. And you kind of come down into there. There's all kinds of collapsed building around, and you actually can hear the crunch of skeletons. Here, they really haven't cleaned this side up, and he will kind of look at you, and he'll go, "Oh, Elf, okay, yeah, Elf, okay."
I lean over to Rook and I say, Rook, I whisper, whatever you do, maintain strong eye contact with them. Don't let them show you. Don't let them think that you're afraid or that you're showing any kind of weakness.
Okay, that looks like
Master
some
Dwarf.
whispering. Oh yes, yeah. Okay, you done with your whispering? Okay,
Are you-
then so.
Are you the dwarf called Modric?
I am Modric. Yeah, that's me. That's my name.
And did
You're
you
muted,
do some work at a castle? Checking the notes. Arak. Did you do some work at Castle Arak a number of years ago that you might recall?
Yeah, yeah, so, it is, I'm a little parched, so I don't know if I can recall such a thing right now, how dry my mouth is. Yeah, so,
I whispered to Rook, leave it to a dwarf to be plied so easily with drink. I say, very well, Dwarf Modric.
just Modric. Don't have to say Dwarf Modric, but okay, yeah, so.
I just wanted to be perfectly clear who I'm speaking to.
Fair enough, elf.
I happen to have a flask of elven honey wine on my person.
Okay,
Would that
yeah.
be enough to quench your thirst and loosen your tongue?
Well, it's no beer, but sure, I'll take a couple of slugs of that thing then. Okay, yeah, so,
Watch, she'll be telling us everything in mere moments.
Did you put soma in it?
Oh, no, not. And he'll take us a couple of slugs, and he'll move off to the side, kind of out of the line of vision of anybody up top, and takes a couple of slugs on it, hands it to you for you to take a drink.
I kind of I very conspicuously take out a handkerchief or something and wipe the nozzle with a little spout, and then I take a drink and I pass it to Rook.
Oh, okay. She just takes a swig. And then she's not sure what to do with it, so she sort of stares at Modric and then hands it back to him again.
And I very conspicuously intercept it and just drink it freely after Rook's having drunk it. So.
But I
Okay,
keep
yeah.
staring at him. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I did some work at Iraq.
Let's say someone were to do a very, very detailed assessment of the inner workings of a vault in Castle Arak. What sorts of things might they run into? What sorts of, say, mechanical devices or traps might they encounter? Just if someone were to have done work on such a vault.
Let me have you make a charm roll. I want to see
I felt that
how well you're putting this forward.
Uh-oh.
All right, charm. Let's see here. I'm not half bad at that. All right, let's see. If I end up succeeding here, that means my approach was successful, which is probably not good for Aka's long-term personal growth and development. All right. I got one botch, but I got a 9.
Oh yeah, so you're good. He's reluctant, and there's a small matter of coin that you will negotiate.
Sure. Yeah.
And he'll say, yeah, so they called me down, and I thought there would be a vault down there. But there wasn't.
There was no vault.
No. See, they've got this crypt tomb thing you walk through, and they got all the old dead people. They don't recycle them. And they put all their stuff
My eyes
there.
widen.
Yeah, and they're like, I could smell the stuff that was in the tombs, and they just leave it there. But you walk past that, and they had some chambers that they were. How do I put this? they'd had an accident there. Like they were doing wizardry shit down there, and something had gone wrong. And so that's what I was doing. They didn't want, they called me down there, and I had to fix up the rooms there. And it was a mess. They were still sweeping up the parts.
What parts of what?
All kinds of things, ma'am. All kinds of things. They had little cells down there and magic-y stuff and things.
Desiccated corpses, I should expect, Rook.
I don't know what desiccated means, but yeah, there were some dry things down there.
Okay.
Yeah,
So did they have like people down there, family members? Was it like a lab?
Yeah, I'd say it's like a lab thing down there. They kind of keep it off the beaten path, is my sense of things. Once you get down there, it's pretty open down there. It's not like they have a whole bunch of traps or things like that. It's really dumb. I would have put in at least a pitfall and maybe a pendulum, some darts, poison spikes. That's the basics, for a dwarven hold, because you can't trust your family.
And Rook stops and looks at him really hard, and she goes, "Which of the family did that lab belong to?
Oh,
who was concerned about it? Who had the specifications or directions for you?"
Rodrus. Guy named Rodrus, I think. Like the son of the bigwig. Seemed to be like his pet project.
Very well. Thank you,
Is that
Dwarf
good?
Modric.
What you want to
Yes.
know? Oh, yeah. Oh, that's the other thing. I should tell you. There's actually a back way out of that.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah. There's like some kind of like a underwater spring that runs out from under the castle, and it's actually a waterfall off the back of it. And they've got stuff to kind of drop things down to the waterfall outside the walls, like a secret back place. They didn't want me to see that. They put things up to kind of hide that, but I'm a dwarf.
So you mean they're dumping into the water out there?
I don't know what they're doing, but it's another way out.
So it's a way out.
Yeah.
It might be a tough way back in, huh?
Oh, it's a waterfall. Can't swim up a waterfall. And he looks at the elf to confirm that.
And I look at you like, certainly dwarves can't swim up waterfalls. That's true.
Yeah. That's what I thought. Hey, yeah, there.
Very good, Dwarf Modric. You've served us well today. You are a credit to your people.
Very good, nameless elf. Okay. Then hey there. Okay. All
I
right.
am Akka.
Oh, okay, Elf Akka.
This is my companion, Rook.
All right, human Rook. Just so I know specifically who I'm talking to. Just, don't want to make a mistake.
So
That's
we're
a
all clear
reasonable
here.
position to take.
Do you want to make sure that he doesn't talk to other people? Do you want to? Is there anything you want to do, threat or money or charm wise, to that end? That standard tradecraft. Rook, what about you? You've got some skill rolls here. Akka's rolled.
Yeah. And I think that's it, is that, he was pretty happy to talk for some beer, and I guess the talking, and maybe he was impressed with Akka. I mean, I certainly would be. But essentially what it is she'll say, if this pans out, we may be back. There could be a lot of beer and money in this. And she sort of stops.
Beer money. Interesting.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay.
So, okay, and then here's the thing is I can mind read.
Okay.
So I want to know if that actually is working on him. Does that make any sense?
Okay, let's have you make that willpower roll for that.
Okay.
And then we're going to cut back to Deltra and see what's up on that end of things.
Can you see my roll?
Whoa. Yeah. He's thinking, oh, yeah, that's a pretty elf lady. She might be a little tad racist, but, it's okay. She's easy on the eyes. And, I'd really like some beer money. I spent it all the other day. I could really use some. I'm down here going through corpse lodges and things like that. So, yeah, wrong side of the tracks for this dwarf. Woe is me. That's what's going on in his head right now.
Before he gets anywhere into that, cut it off. Yeah, I don't want to
Okay.
hear the story. Okay.
Do you read Akka's mind?
No, she never would.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's probably full of fascinating things, but it's exactly why she doesn't.
Too tempting.
Yeah, exactly. Once you start, can you stop?
So, Deltra, what's your next thing? Following up on this or investigating something else? What do you want to do?
So I think Deltra has her plan for taking on the role of this elderly servant. I don't know what else. What else do you guys think we need before we go in?
I feel like we have a good handle on things, at least to get started.
We got to figure out how to knock the woman out so you can take her place. We had to make sure that you're let's see, you've got all the assets that you need to take her place.
Okay, so I think Deltra has kind of been a bit of a creeper. Maybe watching Lauren through her window and kind of creepy things like that. She notices that she has a cup of tea every night. I would like to procure some sleeping herbs to kind of drop into her tea and make sure that she's late to work the next
All right.
day.
What's your score with the alchemy?
Alchemy 1.
I feel like we have everyone's assigned to the worst jobs for themselves.
Yes.
We divided ourselves up the worst way we could.
Do you have medicine? Do you have anything in medicine? Or is that also a 1?
It's the same.
Okay. Same thing. So I will let you spend one of the strategic assets to get yourself a few doses of sleeping draught. Does that seem reasonable? Or I'm going to make you roll to see what you actually buy on the street.
I think I'd rather go with a trusted source.
Okay.
I
All
don't
right.
want to either wake this woman up or kill this woman. So
Fair enough. And you can assume that Glower can direct you to that, and you'll meet with an alchemist, who will give this long thing about why you shouldn't buy adulterated poisons and sleeping powders on the street, because they're not efficacious and so on, and warned you about that, and we'll provide you with, let's say, 5 doses. Does that seem like a reasonable thing? Okay.
yeah, that's plenty.
Okay. Essentially 5 doses to be able to knock 5 people out. Relatively tasteless and odorless. So you want to get this into her drink, right?
Yes.
Okay. Then that's going to be a stealth check.
Okay.
This is where you're good.
Yeah. Okay. Stealth is a 4. Very, very good. Okay. Sure.
Oh, yeah. So the scene is probably her walking around her small, household apartment, and we see you just kind of move from shadow to shadow in the back. Every time she turns, you're somewhere else with that level of success, and you can put that in there, and she'll sit down you know, oh, goddamn, my feet, your bunions, and then she'll, and there'll be that, and she'll go out.
Okay. I'll carry her to her bed. I'm not a mean person.
All right.
Put her in.
Okay. So she'll probably be out for about hours.
Perfect.
So we'll assume you do this just before any operations that you want to get set.
Right.
Sound good?
Good.
Okay. What other preparations do y'all wish to make?
Well, so Rook recommended something in the notes here. Yeah, I don't know what that would be.
Well, it's just a thing of is that that's on our way out. And if we had someone to say, meet us out there and ride us back to town super fast,
Oh, I see.
that sort of thing, whisk us away.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So scouts, you want to spend the other thing essentially on scouts to be at the waterfall waiting?
Yes. Yes, I think that would be helpful.
Okay.
Especially if we have someone who's in bad shape.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
don't know what we're going to encounter when we get there, right?
Yeah.
Might be us in bad shape too. We don't know.
And Glower's network, he can give you Tidhar, his agent, can direct you to someone trusted, and they'll get essentially a couple of people and some extra horses, and they will make their way. They know the waterfall of which you speak, and they will get to that position and get themselves set and awaiting your arrival. They have a time limit, so after a certain amount of time they will leave, just to prevent capture or anything like that. Any other things, questions, stuff like that you want to do? You've spent both the assets. Anything else you want to do legwork wise?
So I'm going to get on the Shardnet with these guys and say, all right, I've got my way in. How are you guys planning on getting in? We know how we're getting out.
I can bound up walls pretty easily, if that's an option. That's something I can do. I'm not sure about Rook. Maybe I could bound up a wall and then drop down a rope.
Oh, I can climb ropes. She goes, I think that's great. We can get in at the walls if we have to go in through the first thing and use but we just have to get to the walls. Then we can get up there and to the roof. If we get a rope, we can use it to get down if there's a chance.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. So,
One thing is this, sorry.
no, go on, please.
Before we go, I just want to be clear about what we're going to do. Deltra, we need you to figure out where Vana is, first and foremost.
Yeah.
And then we will be trying to get her rescued, and we want to find out what's in the crypts. My guess is it will be rescuing Vana, going to the crypts, or if she's in the crypts, going to the crypts, rescuing Vana, and then out of it. Okay?
Got it.
And she goes, just saying, because I don't know how many things I've been, how many raids, and everyone got confused about what we were supposed to do. So, all right, all set. I can climb rope.
Okay.
Way to take charge, Rook, I say.
Thanks.
Exceptional leadership skills.
Oh,
That's
no.
right. I was
swapped his
bucking for a
love interest.
promotion.
Wow. My love interest lasted for one episode.
Rook doesn't even notice.
Yeah.
Cool.
I have the element of surprise then.
So at
Okay.
first light, I'll be catching the wagon that Loren normally takes to the castle.
Okay. And I'll even assume that you do the dusk shift. so that you have the advantage of night.
Sure.
Seem reasonable?
Yeah.
And so you guys have told me all your preparations. So this is what you're going in with. We are all good. So you three will head out with Deltra catching the wagon disguised. When you see her, it is uncanny. She looks like a shrunken applehead woman, in a babushka thing, getting onto the cart with the creaking arthritis and everything.
It's very, very, very impressive, Deltra.
Yeah.
Are we sure that's Deltra?
No, she may have changed the way she looks, but she has not altered one bit the way she smells.
Well, I was thinking maybe like you see that one arthritic old lady get on, but then I come up saying, get out of my way. Climb aboard like, no, I'm pretty sure that's her.
And because people clearly don't care for Servant Lauren, everyone gives you wide berth when you get up on there too.
Sitting in my spot.
Away, curses under their breath.
I say, Deltra, do you want to take dirt with you?
Oh. Yeah, get him up here.
I'll go find dirt and cast dirt if I can, lol.
Okay, sure. Is there? I can't remember if there's a check on the casting for that. What does it say with the spell there?
Let me check. Well, all it says on my page is that I have a familiar named Dirt.
Okay, so yeah, you can pull him out again. He's when you pull him out, his existence is sort of continuing from the last time you had him out. So
Right.
He's sort of shaking his head from getting thrown against the tree, and
I shake him more. I'm like, that's the best way to get out of it. You just gotta. It's like if you have a hangover, you just drink more beer. Shake him.
he does hand jazz for a while, and then
I'm like, Dirt.
Mhm.
Dirt.
Mhm.
You're going to go with this nice woman right here.
Yeah.
I point to Deltra / Lauren,
Okay.
who looks very nice, I'm sure. And I say, do precisely as she says, and stay hidden.
Mm-hmm. And Dirt will go little dust mud thing across the ground before it clambers up under Deltra's skirt up into an inside pocket.
It looks like a passing fart cloud a little bit.
Yes, and it probably has a little bit of that smell to it as well.
One other detail I want to throw in, my crossbow has a feature on the sheath that says its case is disguised as a wicker basket.
Oh, very nice.
I can carry my basket along with me too.
Excellent. The road out to Castle Arak takes you through the Sylvetica Woods, but not the elven sort of occupied, the cared for and tended and beautiful. These are woods that have been in places left wild, but in places weirdly died out. Trees that have gone to kind of gray ash, great cocoons of spider worms up in the branches there that sort of crunch, and as you move through it, it all has certainly a sinister feeling to it. When you roll up to a rock and see the castle on the hill, it's kind of like a big gap-toothed skull sitting on that hill. At least that's for the first sight. Windows in some places that are clearly not kept up, slats on the roof that have kind of fallen down. but lots of people, you see guards and things like that, but the house itself is not in a state of great care. And the road as well is that kind of jangling, bouncing, broken out stones and mud ruts as you head on up. It rained yesterday, so everything has that sort of light sheen of gook and wet to it as you roll on up. And so we'll start with you, Deltra. The wagon rolls up to the gatehouse. It's a two-section affair, hooked into the walls there with a raised portcullis, and the guards will come out, and they will essentially bring a shard stone over to you, and they hand it to a person, and they clearly think their passphrase into the shard. They hand it back to the guard, or rather, so the guard has his own, so he confirms on that from the admin. And it's slow and tedious, but it is checked. The thing that will strike you, Deltra, is while the building itself has that kind of air of decay, the guards are sharp. They are awake, they're aware, they go through the procedures carefully. They are not old men at the gatehouse. They are professional soldiers. You see the tattoos, you see the scars, you see that their blades are kept clean, that their armor is in good condition. They go through the procedure without cutting corners. And so you will go up, they will hand you the shard, and there's probably a moment when you think, I really hope they haven't changed the passphrase.
I'll say, mountains, horses, wonders.
And the guard will go, you don't have to say it out loud, just say it into the thing.
Oh, I don't know how this fancy technology works.
And he'll, okay, confirm, go on. And you are given pass to walk, and it's a winding road up to the second gate that's on the castle itself. You're sort of in a crowd of other servants that are making the change up right now, and so walking on that kind of muddied steps up. We cut from there. Yes?
Am I hearing any chatter that's kind of related to these recent happenings of this urchin, being found, or anything about this guy we're looking for?
No. The servants are particularly kind of, once they get inside, they get kind of mum. Even on the ride up, they were particularly, not talking. Did you want to actually ask about Vana directly?
No, not at this stage. Definitely not.
Okay. So you're making your way up. All right. So I heard about Akka going over a wall, is what I heard.
Oh, yes.
So tell me.
Actually, before we do that,
yes,
I would, because I'm a horrible person, I would like to use Tracer so I can geolocate shard nets. I want to essentially ping into any of the shard nets that are working around here just so I can use those to geolocate.
Okay.
Essentially, I want to use that to pin out where the guards are.
All right. Let me see how that will work with this. Here's my spell list here. Tracer. Okay. So what you're going to need to do, though, is get an example of that shard. You're going to have to get up by it to be able to then do that tracer.
Okay. Let's see here. All right. Okay. Well, then, I suppose the first time we encounter a guard, then that's what we'll do is do that.
Okay. Just that sounds like a good plan. All right. Akka at the walls.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like my full title. Akka.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I cut you off. Would you?
No. Great, large, crumbling castle walls. They have the ramparts, and they have guards that do the walk across the top.
Mhm.
Tell me about you going over.
So I think my first, if they have guards on patrol, about how many guards do we know that? Can we suss that out?
You would guess that out here, moving along the tops of the walls in the evening, they probably got 3 pairs of guards, kind of
That's a lot.
moving in a regular cycle around.
When you say regular cycle, like, are we talking like maybe a pair of guards passes like every few minutes, every 30 seconds? Like, what's the?
I would say every several minutes. They're not doing
Okay.
a fast walk. They're
Okay.
doing a careful walk, keeping an eye out, in and out.
So I could conceivably get up there, toss a rope down, and get Rook up in that brief span of time.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Conceivably.
Yeah. Well, that's the plan. So,
All right. So this will be an athletics check. What do you have
right.
that supports that?
So I have a talent called pole vaulter, and I can make impossible jumps so long as I'm equipped with my staff, which is my. Now we've established already in the fiction that the staff wails, so that might be a problem.
Yes, it might be.
But
do you think you can keep it from wailing? What is required to do that?
Maybe that might just be part of the failure. Maybe I'm trying, and if I don't succeed, I don't know. But yeah,
that sounds
I'll
good.
be trying, I think here's what I think it is. Here's what I think it is. The spear wails when it has not drunk the blood of a living creature in a long time. It's constantly hungry for the blood of the living. And so when Rook is not paying attention, I find a castle rat or something, and I just like stick it in there. And I'm like, drink deep, you sad, sad elf maiden, and be silent this night, as the rat just twitches and shrivels up.
And there's probably that sort of gagging sob.
Right.
This isn't the blood that it wants.
No, but I just need to last for a little bit.
So we're going to do this athletics check,
Yep.
and it's going to be about you getting up, getting the rope down, and getting her up. So that's sort of the whole action.
Okay, so we're all okay. Cool. All right. Well, I've got 4 dice in it, so and I might even spend one of the fates if it goes poorly. So
okay,
because I don't want to mess this one up. What's my difficulty?
Difficulty is actually going to be an 8 for this.
Okay, so I got 1 hit.
1 hit. All right. So you will do that impossible leap.
Mm-hmm.
Quiet on up to the top of this. Get the rope set. Put it down. Had you gotten more successes, I wouldn't have Rook do any kind of roll.
Is there something for max on the dice? Is there something for that?
No, there's no. There's the only thing is for D6s.
Oh, for 6s.
Anytime you roll a 6,
Yeah,
it's always
yeah.
a success.
Sorry, my bad. Sorry.
No. So I am going to have Rook make a check.
Okay.
She's going to have to fill in the gap here.
Although a 2 on a D6 is a botch, right?
Yes. Oh, you're right.
I think I have nothing then. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I would spend a fate then in that case.
All right. So then it'll go 1 success. We've got 3 fate left.
Okay.
And that's probably, that landing, maybe the timing's off just a little. And so your feet hit the top of that, and the guard's closer than you thought they were. You hold, and Rook has a little bit narrower window of time here. So Rook, athletics?
Sure. Huh. So I needed 6s?
This is, for just going up the rope here.
Okay, so I got 2 successes.
Okay. So this is pretty good. You make her job easier by getting that rope on there. She gets up top. And I assume you're going to drop down into the courtyard, right?
Yeah.
Okay. This will be a stealth check now. And this is for you getting down and getting under cover behind something there on the grounds between the castle and the walls here. So each of you make that check.
What's our target?
Say a 6.
Okay, I've got 3 hits.
Oh,
I've
man.
got 3 hits.
We're good. High five.
Yeah.
Virtual high five.
Oh, the grounds are wet, so the guards aren't doing maybe the best patrol. They want to stick to the lines where they have pathways and so on, and you're taking advantage of that. Getting behind the barns and the stables here, you'll kind of look, and there's maybe one horse in the stable. Everything else there feels derelict. And you will essentially be able to cross that path between the walls and the castle. Rook, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I want to stop. If there is a spot where they, sort of stop to take their breaks or whatever, I would like to essentially kind of step a little bit closer and see if I can get an eye on one of their shards. Does that make any sense?
Yes, I will say, since both of you got 3 successes, that's both, critical successes on both of your rolls. That seems like a reasonable thing to ask for.
Okay.
So let's have you make that willpower check.
Okay.
It is an 8 because it is a large shard network.
Okay. All right then. Let's see. So I got 2 successes.
So you reach out, and Tracer is a quieter spell. A lot of these spells are more obvious when you do them, and you will get that ping, and you can get a sense of that network. There are a couple of shard networks. You can feel that there are others around, but the guard network, you can feel and get a sense of that, and sort of got that weird after image of your mind of where those shards are in relation to you.
Okay.
What do you think, Aka, is the Benny that you get from that critical success? Anything that you want to draw?
I think it might be that this might be like an off-screen thing. I don't know how closely it has to be tied to the role of the action of what I was doing, but I think I just by happenstance killed the king of the rats of this castle for the spear. Like, it was a top dog rat, and so the banshee inside the spear is pleasantly surprised by this, and she will let me fight quietly for the remainder of the evening if I have to go to blows. So.
Well, and I will tell you what strikes you is that that rat was fairly potent and kind of unusual. It strikes you as odd, the power of that rat that you drained it into. And that you'll realize that as the wailing, stays down.
Yeah, I mean, I swing it around a little bit, just kind of privately and quietly, and I'm like, okay, it's a good rat.
All right, let's come to Deltra. Deltra, I assume you want to make your way into the main now, right?
Yeah, all I really know is that I'm supposed to be working in the guest wing. I'm not even sure I know where that. So we have the schematics at least enough to see those sort of things, or no?
Yeah, absolutely. You would have given basic floor plans.
Yeah, so I kind of know where I'm going, but I don't even really know what I'm doing there.
And I will say, because you talked about copying her dress, that you do have a sash matching her appropriate sash. Okay.
Right. Because it's not just the guards that have those; it's also the servants.
Everyone has sashes to kind of show where they can be.
Okay.
You'll go up. There's another shard net here. They will have you touch that and do the passphrase again. It's a little bit longer here. And what you can tell is going on is that somewhere there's an admin saying she should look like this and confirming. And the guard gives you the once over to confirm that you are a horrible, apple-headed, shrunken woman, and goes, and lets you move on.
Thank you, sweetie.
Yeah. Pulls back. So once you're inside the castle proper, what's your goal? What do you want to do?
So as Rook and Anaka are moving, in a way that's a little bit more restricted, I think, almost, because we have different sets of restrictions. I can remain in eyesight, but I have my own area I can patrol. They have to remain out of eyesight. Maybe they can look in some more areas. So we're just trying to blanket this area, I think, and I'm doing a lot of eavesdropping, I think. I'm hoping to.
So you want to move to the servants areas and see what you can kind of pick up from there?
Yeah.
Okay. And they're going to find their way into the castle proper.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. I described the outside as dilapidated. That feeling certainly carries in a little bit through here. It's clean in that way of, taskmasters that make everybody clean everything to a polish, but that doesn't hide the wear and tear. The fact that everything has, edges that are showing. Everything is sort of at that slight level of decay, but kept pristinely clean. No dust anywhere, but the paintings are kind of faded. That kind of thing as you move around through here. And you'll definitely see the guards and so on, kind of a level of paranoia. And so you want to try and gather info.
Yeah,
right?
I'm listening for key names, or just even that tone of voice that sounds a little, attempting to be inconspicuous.
Okay, let's have you make a query roll.
Query. My query is 1. Not so great.
Wow. So now that's 2 botches. So that would put you at -1 successes there.
Are we at a 4 or?
Because it'd be a 6 to gather the info.
Oh, okay.
So you could conceivably spend a fate point and it would just go to 0.
Well, but 2s are botches on 6s as well, right?
Yes, but if you spend the fate point, it'll negate all the botches.
Oh.
Fate points.
Yeah, I'll negate I'll use the fate point.
Okay.
I'm hoping to fail this disguise at some point, but maybe not right off the bat.
So what it is as you're kind of going around and trying to gather gossip, that you will hear kind of a hush come over because the one thing you hear is that Master Ulrich is coming down. He's checking on everybody's things tonight. Apparently something's happened. He's going on. He's going to be checking on everything. And so everybody is task. They are watching there. And you'll probably see Master Ulrich at some point. And he is tall. He has kind of a crown of hair that comes down, white and black, bald on the top. You can see that something has happened to half of his face, like some sort of palsy or something, and it's kind of stuck in one position there. And he's dressed to intimidate. There are jangles and spurs sort of on things, so you can hear him coming. And he moves through, and whenever he comes through a room, it gets just absolutely silent. And he looks around and then passes on. Sound good?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay. Let's go back outside with Akka and Rook. You are outside the walls, the main part of the castle.
Well, can we take a quick bio break? Like 2 minutes?
Absolutely. Yep. Sounds good. I'm going to grab some water.
I think I will as well.
Oh, this tea is awesome. Think we can hit the tea thing for more hot water? Yeah. I like this game, or at least I like the setting of this game. The system's fun. It's got some interesting bits to it. It does seem very, very fun.
Still a little cold down there?
Yeah, it's the floor is cold. That's just what it
Did
is.
you turn on the space heater?
Oh yeah, it's on. It's just not.
Okay.
It's going to take days for it to warm the floor up. It's,
We should make a little
Pounds and
fleecy
pounds of-
carpet there.
oh, that would be awesome. That's why the cat was under the thing there.
Mm-hmm.
The stuffed cat.
It's back behind the couch with the kitten.
With the kitten, I know. Her palin. Hanging out by the heat vent with her.
Yeah.
Need a blankie.
Yeah. It's pretty cold out here, so
Yeah.
we've got snow coming in too. So
Oh yeah. We've had a little bit, but it hasn't stayed around for too long.
Yeah, we've got lake effect from Lake Michigan, so we're supposed to get 4 to 8 inches tonight.
Oh. What part of the country you guys in again?
Northern Indiana,
Okay.
terrible, terrible place.
I'm in central Illinois, so not too
Okay.
far, but I don't have that nice lake effect. So
Yeah. We're about 90 minutes outside of Chicago, so.
okay.
All right. So both Rook and Akka have done an exemplary job crossing the courtyard and making their way up to the walls. What's the next step? You know from a shard net that Deltra is inside.
Nobody's saying anything, guys. It's all quiet out here.
I'd say we get down to those vaults.
If we can find,
The
let's
marks.
see. Yeah, we know that they're in the inner courtyard. Does that mean that we're going to have to get up on some more roofing or whatever to get over there? Or can we, jump some fences now and get there?
You know from the floor plans the inner courtyard is actually very much interior to the castle itself.
Okay.
So you'd have to go in via the main body of the castle or go up over the roof and drop down.
Okay. And I sort of turn to Anka and say, which do you prefer?
I think we should probably let's take the roof and drop down. That seems to be. I've got a feeling that we might stick out if we try to go through the front.
Makes sense.
And I I have very kind of mangy red dreadlocks, and and I think my character sheet actually says I'm dirty. I am like dirty,
very attractively dirty. Though.
Right? Yeah. A very earthy quality people find attractive.
Movie Dirty, where there's just a little bit of dirt on the cheeks.
I know, like strategically placed smudges, right?
She does it every morning.
Elven Rouge.
Right. One of the things, though, is as we're out here, is there anywhere where they clearly dumped some of the debris from when they did the repairs or they did that stuff? I'm thinking that there's got to be a junk pile somewhere where they would have dumped all that crypt debris.
That's a really good point. Now, I did mention that it was about 10 years ago.
It was a long time ago, yeah.
So let me think here. Well, let's have you roll scrounge.
Okay.
Let's
All
see
right.
what happens.
Yeah, let's see how many times I can botch.
Okay.
It's actually not a bad roll for me.
Okay.
So let's see here.
I'm going to say that the answer to your question is no, but you don't draw any attention
Okay.
looking around for it. Does that seem like a reasonable answer?
That is a reasonable answer considering that roll.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
So you'll make your way around the grounds. You don't see anything like that.
Okay.
Okay. Akka, how are you getting up the side of this building up onto the slate tile roof?
Well, I can jump again.
Okay.
But we never established if I left the rope in the last place or not.
Oh, common sense says that you
Well,
probably
I pulled it up, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I figured. Yeah, I mean, we could just do the same routine as last time, right? I mean,
All right. So here's the bigger problem. I'm going to say yes with that spear. You can do the outlandish jump. So I'm going to say yes. You can get up to the roof.
right.
The bigger question is doing that without making. So this is going to be a stealth check.
Okay.
And this is actually. Let me ask you this. You can take your time, and we'll say it's a 6, but it may take a while.
Okay.
Or you can try and do it fast, and it's an 8.
What are the dangers if we take our time?
Just that we have more time for your person on the inside to possibly get spotted,
Okay.
or find things out.
That's true. Okay, so it could be a bonus. All right.
That's the danger there.
I think I'm more concerned about being seen, so I think I want to get there quickly.
Okay. So going for the 8.
Yeah.
Crazy
Okay.
Anka.
I got 1 hit.
Oh, okay. So you're up there, and when you hit that slate tile roof, you will realize that this roof is in very bad disrepair.
Of course.
And you kind of get up there, and you're grabbing to make sure that these slates don't come off of this thing.
Right.
Okay. Getting yourself braced, and you'll be able to lower the rope down. Because of her expert quick thing, it's going to be a simpler stealth check for you, Rook.
Okay.
You need 6 to climb up, not make noise, or get spotted, or kick a window in.
Dang.
If we kick a window in, then we've already got our way in, right?
Yes.
So I got 1. I got an 8. I got 9 and 10, but the 2 cancels out.
Okay, so you and Aka are up on this roof, and if you wish, you can start making your way over to across these things, over towards the interior.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to come back to you because this process is going to take a little bit to make sure that you don't go through a roof and so on. We'll have one more check, but let's check and see what Deltra is doing.
So Deltra, she understands that the descent is a very difficult, tricky thing to do with timing, because they're going to have to drop down into the script at a time where there's not guards around. So she wants to get eyes on that.
Okay.
To help. So does she think that she has the sash level clearance to maybe get? So these are interior courtyards, right?
Yes.
So I'm imagining there's like a balcony kind of encircling it in a square or something like that. She could be scrubbing a handrail or something.
It's actually in sort of the more enclosed sort of family area, so you probably don't have the authorization to go there per se.
Okay.
Making the break to do that will require either a strong deception check or a strong stealth check.
I think what I want to actually do is try to use my disguise spell
Okay.
to disguise myself as one of these guards.
Perfect. All right. Let's look at the disguise spell difficulties. Where is that?
It's called Glamour is the name of this spell.
Glamour. Okay, so you want to transform into someone else. So this is a challenging check, which means that the difficulty is a 6+ with a willpower roll.
And that result is 3.
Okay.
Ooh.
So you look like one of these guards that you've seen.
Are any of the guards walking around with weapons?
Yes.
Okay, so I can bring my crossbow with me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you can definitely, you have the appearance of armor. You have, with 3 successes, you can have your crossbow concealed away and have the proper sash to make your way in. Let's say that seems like it's pretty reasonable. Now, do you want to try and blend in with a guard group, or do you want to kind of move out of order? What's the plan there from there?
Huh. So what do I see as I come to this courtyard? What is the guards' formation?
The guards move in regular patterns around the area. So to kind of move over to get into that courtyard, you're probably going to need to play it cool so that nobody thinks anything's unusual.
Yeah.
So I would say either performance or deception.
Um.
And given your disguise, pretty easy, but I just want to make sure that nothing goes terrible.
Right. I think I definitely just want to blend in with the crowd, match their same step. Take a moment to watch their path and kind of see what's going wrong, so I don't accidentally turn right when one of them turns left. Electric slide style or whatever.
Okay. Perfect. So which do you prefer to roll?
I think performance would do a little bit better.
Okay, let's have you do that. This is just a 4.
Okay.
No chance of you failing. It's all good.
So that's 1 success. Oh no, 2 successes. Yeah.
2 successes. So you will make your way into that courtyard, and this at some point must have been lovely, that you could see the outlines of where there would have been gardens and boughs and fountains, but it's all muddy and untouched, and the plants have kind of wildly twisted where there's sort of trees and jack-o'-pulpits and things like that. Devil plants off to the side, the grass is in scrubs, and there is a almost sort of mausoleum kind of thing in the center that is a great sort of archway with stairs going down. And there are no guards out here in the courtyard proper. They seem to move around, kind of circling the area rather than coming and standing out here. So you can make your way to there and get set. Shall we cut upstairs and see about your companions?
Mm-hmm.
All right. You're up top. You've done a great job getting concealed here, but this is going to be an athletics check for the difficulty of making your way across this rooftop.
Ooh.
Okay.
The consequences are more physical harm to yourself than anything.
Okay.
And we're each doing this?
Yes.
All right.
What's our target?
Target's me is 6.
Okay. And I have a 6 on a d6 as well.
Oh yeah, so that's
2
another
hits.
success.
Yeah.
So you're very good.
I have
What about you?
2 successes
Okay.
after my little botch.
You both are good. You find the lines where the roof points meet, where they're at the most solid, where you're not hitting the slates and things like that. You look and see where there are nests that tell you that parts are in worse shape. Make your way across there, keep yourself down low, and eventually you will get yourself to that interior courtyard, and you know from the shard that Deltra is down below. And you can essentially, with the athletics roll, if you both want, you can shimmy down into that courtyard.
Okay, sure.
On
Okay.
her signal.
Okay. You're able to watch and keep an eye on things, Deltra. And you want to kind of time it and get them in quietly, right?
Right.
Stealth
After
check.
a rotation of guards or something like that. And I think I want to
Perfect.
go in there with them so that we can all
Oh yeah.
reunite here.
But this is a stealth check for you to keep everything quiet and get everything timed.
Perfect. Ooh. 1 success.
1 success. That's enough. There's probably some hesitation moments,
Yeah.
where there's that one stray guard that comes around that's running and zipping up his pants because he was caught in the bathroom, and you're like,
I say on the shard, I'll kill him if I have to. Just give me the word. I don't care.
Hold it. Okay.
and then you 3, those 2 will descend down, and you 3 will meet, and you can get to these great stone stairs leading down below the castle, down into the crypts here.
All right.
Who takes point?
Oh, not me, not me. You guys know. I'll come behind. I'll watch our backs.
I'll take point because I heard that there's magic. And here's the other thing is I'm going to put up the astral eyes so that I can sense magic in any of the hidden evidence or whatever that's around here. So I want to get a sense of like where we're hitting barriers and things like that.
All right.
Does that seem reasonable?
Yes. Is there a role for the astral? What does it say on that?
It says unopposed trivial, sense magic and hidden evidence.
Okay. Then when that, I'm going to say you cast it, and when something comes up, I'll have you make that roll, okay?
Okay.
And well, I'd like to put my my little warning rose on this stairwell in case someone comes in after us. The one that attaches to the wall and dies if someone walks by. So.
You can do that. Does it have a check on it, or is it just?
It just says set magical trap that detects trespassers.
Okay, then there's no roll. You can just spend the points and set that up.
Okay. When you say spend the points, what do you mean by that?
It should say MP cost on it.
Oh, I see. Got it.
So
okay.
that's it, yeah.
So then I would have done that for the goblin as well. Then is that true?
No, I think the goblins are familiar. I think.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And in fact, you will hear a.
Oh, that's right. I know Dirt's with you, right? Yeah. I say Dirt.
Mm-hmm.
Dirt.
Mm-mm.
Did you locate the servant girl like I commanded you to?
See the gears kind of turning slowly in its head, and it goes.
I'm just kidding, Dirt. Don't worry about it. And I give him a shake.
Hold his little goblin heart there for a second. This stairwell, great slight stone steps that go down. It kind of curves, and it gets cold right away. That damp sort of holds down here, and it's cold, and it will move down in maybe about 40, 50 feet underground until you come to a substantial chamber. And you can see the tombs and casements and caskets and the stone mausoleums and statuary for all of House Iraq. Great patterns. They have a gripping claw is their signet, so that's on everything. And you can tell that these dozens and dozens of things, dozens and dozens of tombs, probably hold endless treasures and priceless materials of the ages. You'll probably, with your astral eye, get that wink of, oh yeah, some of these tombs are magic items, things like that. But you will also sense that there are definitely protections around and about against defiling those.
Yeah, rich people are incredibly selfish. Okay.
Moving through here, and it's dim light. Most of the light you're getting is a little bit from outside, and up ahead you can see that there are some lamps that seem to illuminate a doorway at the far end of this. It's a little out of place here, and you can definitely hear noise from that room down there. How do you proceed, Rook?
Let's see here. I think that the first thing I do is, as I'm going down, I'm looking for signs of that damage that there was. Does that make any sense? I want to get
Sure.
a sense of what has gone before here.
It looks like as you grow closer to those doors, which clearly lead to that laboratory, you can see some scorches and marks. You have enough willpower and skill to recognize sort of the backlash from dark magics.
Okay.
Something
Great.
very bad being done here that scorched the place.
Okay. All right. Let's hope. And then the noises that we hear?
You'll move along. There are no guards in this section of the cemetery. Nothing to spot you. It's just moving carefully through, not knocking everything over or tomb raiding. When you hit that doorway with the lanterns, you will see, kind of look, and you will hear the sounds of people working. But besides that, you will also hear metallic sounds of scratching and scrabbling and squeaking and chittering, like a lot from inside that room. So what do you want to do? Yes.
Could I possibly squeeze Dirt in there to go spy?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's what I'll do if you don't mind, Rogue.
Oh, no, by all means. Careful.
Okay.
Careful, Dirt.
He's very dependable, I assure you.
So you want Dirt to go in and peek and come back?
And give me a full, detailed report of what he sees. I want the 5 W's, Dirt. Who, what, when. I don't care about when so much. Or where. I know where they're at. Why might be a little difficult for you, but give it a shot. And how.
Oh, poor Dirt.
Dirt squeezes through the little gap in the oaken door there underneath. In a couple minutes will pass.
While we're waiting on Dirt, I say, boy, this is some adventure, huh, Rook? I say as I kind of lean up against the wall, putting myself between you and Deltra. Right?
Looks like it is. I don't know. I'm really torn. I hope we can find Vanna. I would feel bad if we
Find
had to
who?
do Vanna?
Oh, Vanna, right.
Yeah,
right.
Vanna, I don't know.
How's that going, Deltra? I say over my shoulder. Did you were you able to suss her out?
No, not exactly. Nobody's talking. I met the Lord of the Castle. He's I think he's got everyone scared. But yeah, it sure is a cool adventure. It's really great. I'm glad to be on it with
so
you.
Rook, really scary when we were scaling those roofs, huh? I thought
You were so skilled.
I thought we might. Well, for a moment, I thought we might be in danger, but then I realized that we had it under control.
We did.
Yeah, thanks to me being down there ready to let you come in, right?
Right, you helped too. Thanks, Deltra.
Yeah.
And there will be that sort of fart smell that announces the return of Dirt. And Dirt comes back. He's still got his hand out, like trying to count. And he...
Yes, spit it out, Dirt.
Rats!
Rats. Did you get distracted by rats? Again, Dirt.
Does what they're doing involve rats? Many rats.
He's a goblin. He sees rats everywhere, Rook. This may be completely undependable information.
She goes, were they in cages? Oh my gosh, that many rats? They weren't all in cages. What are the people doing?
He pokes you.
I'm impressed you can make sense of this, Rook. I say as I lean back.
I think he's saying that they're watching the rats do things. Is that right? Yeah.
Dirt's very excited.
Yeah.
He didn't think he was getting any of this across. He looks at you.
Right. I grab him and I just toss him down the chamber. Thank you, Dirt.
No.
Give him a toss. All right. So
I know how you feel, Dirt.
Wonderful.
I'm like,
I
what'd you
say-
say, Delta?
I say I have something to tell you both. Earlier, I killed a rat to slake the bloodlust of the banshee that lives in my spear, and normally that satisfies her for about 30 seconds. But she's been quiet this whole time. I think there's something strange going on with these rats. Something magical, perhaps.
I hate rats.
You do?
Yeah, this recurring nightmare, wake up screaming, rats. I don't want to talk about it.
If you could eat a rat to consume its arcane power, you wouldn't do that, Deltra?
I'm not saying I've never had to eat a rat, but it was more.
What?
Never mind.
Right. I think Aka's made the right decision here.
Okay, then. I go, okay, so we're going in there. There's a bunch of rats. They're being watched. There's people in there. They're going to notice when we go in. Let's see here.
We don't know what this lady looks like, right? Who we're trying to save.
Let's assume that Lord Glower would have given you a good description.
Okay.
Okay. So, but this door seems to be the only way into this place.
Yes.
Okay, then. Can I touch it with psychometry to access the memory of the door? I want to know who are the last different people that went in, like the last 20 different people.
Perfect. Let's have you make a roll.
Yes, let's have us make a roll. I mean, me.
Yes, you.
This will go stunningly well. It will go.
So what does it say under psychometry for the difficulty?
It says unopposed of varying difficulty.
I assume you want just the most recent?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a 4. So you'll have two successes off of that.
Yeah.
Right now, at this point, kind of reading the most recent, there are 3 people in there. 2 sort of pale lab rat, not literally lab rat, but researchy types who are in there, who have the bad skin of and look of apprentices kept daylight, and there is there's an older woman with great long black hair and robes, who just her manner as she opens the door and heads in has that air of dominance to her. And you have the sense that those are the only 3 people that have gone in recently.
Okay. Then I kind of go, okay. Turn back to him and I go, 3 people in there. Woman with the long black hair. We need to knock her out ASAP.
How long was her black hair?
Almost down to the floor.
Just curious. I asked that of Rook.
I'd say she's an older woman, middle-aged. It looks like she's used to bossing people around a lot.
Middle-aged human, middle-aged elf.
Middle-aged human.
All right.
Yes, Lowell?
I'll kill her if need be.
Okay.
Does that fit your Match.com profile?
Swipe.
Oh.
Okay. So I guess 1, 2, 3, and force the door open. We're going to try to go for surprise at this point.
Okay.
I got
So-
the spear at the ready.
Crossbow.
You will ready. There's that 1, 2, 3, and you'll throw it open. And the thing that strikes you is how much that door was insulating the noise. Because once you throw it open, there's a cacophony of the sounds of rats and cages and scrabbling. And you can see in here this great, it's clearly a lab. There's all kinds of alchemical things and magical signs and maps and stuff on the wall, but also great cages on the floor and hanging from the ceiling of rats of all different sizes and colors and shapes. And some of them with burning yellow eyes. That's the one thing that strikes you about some of them. There's also a set of cells across the way that look like they might be sort of prison cells or experiment cells. There's some other doors, and you will see a couple of these apprentices. They're sort of standing, and they're clearly doing something with a couple of the rats. And there's that tall, long, black-haired woman who is very much the one that spins around to look at you, and fast, clearly reacts. The first one, the other two haven't really noticed, but she certainly catches the sound of you. What do you do, Rook?
Essentially, I am going to persuade her to stand down with my club, which is called persuasion.
So you're going to move up on her and attempt to hit her with the club.
That is correct. It's very subtle, that.
All right. She is going to attempt to dodge.
Okay.
You need an 8 to hit her.
Oh, man. Let's hope this goes off well. What did I get? 9 and a 1. Couple of 4s. Damn. I miss her, but
Yeah.
I've distracted her.
So she's fast.
Okay.
It's sort of inhumanly fast as you swing. And where does your club land?
It kind of it goes across the table that she was at, and it smacks one of those cages full of rats.
Okay.
So sends that flying.
And when it goes tumbling and they're shrieking, the sound of the rats in here, you thought it couldn't get any louder, but it does as they react to that. Okay.
Okay.
Who goes next?
I'll take a stab at her.
All right.
I say, come and meet your end, human witch, and strike with my spear.
Okay. Let's have you make that attack roll. Need to hit an 8.
This is which skill am I rolling?
So I believe that
Strength.
is precise melee for you.
Precise melee. Okay.
So that's dexterity.
Oh right. I'm just. Oh, there it is. Okay, sorry. It just takes me a minute to find all. There's some little things here.
Yeah.
I'm accustomed to looking for them. Oh, that's a bad result.
So you will lunge with that spear, and she was in that space in the air, and then she's not, and she will go human, like that's a question, and you can see that she has fangs.
I told you.
Ah!
Deltra.
Deltra's gone.
Okay.
Deltra does not appear to be here.
Oh.
She has cast her chameleon spell and is
Okay.
now trying to be invisible.
Okay. Is there a roll on that chameleon spell?
It
What does
says
it say?
opposed.
Okay. So is it opposed by, we'll say, the highest sort of perception of the opponents? So let's say the test level is going to be a 6.
Okay.
Yes, that's going on around here. Actually, I'm going to say 4s because there's so much noise. There are other people here. We'll just say 4. So roll that to see if that is successful.
1 success.
1 success. So you can cast that, and do you want to move somewhere in the room?
Yes, because I don't want the door shutting on me.
Okay.
And locking me out. Yeah, so I kind of go to a corner of the room where there's, just I don't have to climb over anything, but I'm maybe behind a stack of rat cages about as tall as I am. And I'm just kind of peering through.
Okay.
With my crossbow ready, but I want to.
Okay. So
see what happens.
Vanish, get yourself into position. The apprentices are turning around. Their action is spent freaking out. And at least one of them is running over for the cage that you knocked down. This woman will go to strike you, Akka. So now you have a choice. You can parry or dodge. You'll see there are different numbers there. Which one is higher?
Okay, so I have it says parry versus melee. Is that what I'm looking at?
Yep.
Okay, dodging is better for me. So.
Okay, and what's the number on dodge?
8.
Okay, so she needs 8s to hit you.
Okay.
Okay, so that will be. You are very lucky on that one. She swings her arm out at you, and you will move aside, and it hits. Essentially, there's a wooden support beam in here, and when she hits it, splinters will shatter off from it with the side of her hand there.
Wooden splinters? Maybe big ones?
Yes. We'll say potentially, but she does that and sort of shatters it. Let's come back to you, Rook.
I'm going to get another swing in, dance.
Okay.
I just got to keep her distracted until.
Grab a wooden splinter.
Okay, but next time. Because right now I just got to keep her distracted.
No, I'm kidding.
No, you're good thinking.
Need 8s.
All right. Yeah. Let's see. Uh-oh. Let's see here. Dang you, 2.
You could spend a fate, one of the 2 remaining fates, to eliminate that bot.
No, spending those is to keep someone alive. No.
And I want you to spend your limited resources. Akka, that she again dodges persuasion. She's moving incredibly fast. What's your action, Akka?
I mean, are we definitely like irreversibly in melee here, or can I maybe change her disposition somehow?
You think you're in melee. I mean, you have attacked her. Things have swung. Fangs have come out. There's a cacophony of noise around.
All right. Because I was wondering if I could maybe do my create calm bloom blessing, but we don't really have probably not a lot of flora in this area, I imagine. So
no, I would say it might be successful on the apprentices if they were sort of isolated, but probably not her.
Yeah, well, I don't think there's any plants down there anyway, so it doesn't make any sense that there'd be like a bunch of flowers. So I pocket the largest chunk, sharpest looking wood shard I can find in that debris. Keep it in my belt, but I otherwise go after it with my spear.
All right, and that's easy enough for you. You're super fast, and try and.
I think maybe even what I want to do is I want to get close to her. Like I want to try to get in close. That's kind of my goal.
Oh, interesting. Let's do that as an athletics check against her 8 to give you bonuses for your next action. How does that sound?
That sounds great.
Okay, so athletics.
Okay. Right. 1 botch, and then I assume 1 hit. So
yeah. So you try to get
0, I guess.
Yeah, you try to get in on close to her. You will get that splinter, but she's moving around. There's that moment where you're actually having to kind of track the motion rather than seeing her as she's coming around. And she seems now actually there's that little bit of a smile, like you have all missed repeatedly, and she's enjoying herself. And
Bring it along.
Deltra.
So Akka bends down, crouches down to grab one of these slivers, steaks, perhaps. And that lines up a perfect shot for me to send a crossbow bolt into this lady.
Okay. So she's going to use dodge against that, but because it's dodge against missile weapon, if you hit, you're actually going to do an additional point of damage.
Okay. And also, because I'm invisible, does that help me at all?
Yeah, actually, what you get to do, the way they do this is you make a stealth check first.
Okay.
And that adds to the successes of your attack.
Awesome.
That's the way, but that will reveal your shot once you kind of do that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
All right, so make a stealth roll first. You're going to need 6s for that.
Okay. 3.
So 3. So you get 3 successes if you're able to land the shot.
Okay. So I'll try to land the shot now. Okay. Now I have the ability Sniper, which also allows me to ignore that botch 2.
So you duck down, Akka, and she sprouts a crossbow bolt in her chest. And she looks down and she kind of staggers back, stunned. And you can see her actually probably her skin starts to kind of pull in a little, and she'll get pale as she's trying to summon up her mystical energy to keep herself alive, because that has clearly shattered sort of the center of her being there. So she's going to have to spend her action recovering, because that was like 6 points, which is a lot more than you should be able to do in any one shot in this game. And staggers back. One of the apprentices is going to come and try and stab you, Akka. Wavy dagger, because they're cultists, will go to hit you, and one of them is going to try and stab you, Rook. They're trying to get you back, peel you away from her. So dodge or parry for you, Akka?
I'll dodge.
Dodge. Okay. 2 successes and 2 botches on my table here. So this one comes running over and essentially buries this wavy dagger in the chair next to you and is trying to pull that back. What about you, Rook?
I'll be dodging, please. 6.
Okay, need 6s?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So 1 and... Ooh, okay, that was not a good run. So this one actually, when he comes up to do that, probably hits his poor hand on the side of a table and drops his dagger as he goes to do that. But they are trying to get themselves interposed between you and her. The rats are screaming, and the cages are starting to kind of shake. Clearly, the blood, the fighting here is kind of making them crazy. And in fact, you probably see some of the cages start to bend out as the rats throw themselves against it. Let's come back to you, Rook.
Let's see here. I think I'm going to see if I can, stun the vampire woman. So I will take another swing at her. Because that gives Akka a better chance of putting some more wood splinter into her. So
she is stunned, which means you need 4s to hit her.
Awesome.
Cool.
Okay, so I got one success.
So 2 successes, right? Oh no, you got a botch. Sorry, you're right. So what's the damage on that weapon?
What a fine question. Damage is 0.
Okay, so it's just 1 for your success. Then is what it is. So where do you hit her?
I want to hit her right across the ear.
Okay,
Does that make any sense? That kind of like it's like just it's like an annoying hit.
Okay, essentially swing up, smack. Pull back. There's her body is starting to come apart, so you'll probably actually powder her ear when it hits it. It will kind of ash off the side of her face, and you'll see some of the skin pull away to show the skull beneath it. Aka.
So she's not dead yet, though, right? Just her skin's falling away.
She is stunned, and she's holding herself together, trying to regenerate.
I'm just gonna run up if I can and just like push the arrow deeper into her heart. Take her out.
All right, let's. I think that's precise melee because you're working with the arrow. You need 4s.
Sounds good. Let me check my stat real fast. Precise melee. There we go. Okay. Three hits.
3 hits, and that will shove that in here. You get up, and you can kind of feel that wood is cracking whatever magical matrix holds her together, and she kind of pushes forward, trying to get her fangs desperately into your neck to try and get what blood she can out of you. And you can hear the spear that you're not using wailing that you're not using it.
I know, right? Like, where am I? I know. Where's my treat?
And she will come apart. Essentially, the skin, the flesh, all of that turns to dust, and the skeleton crashes to the floor. And the apprentices are freaking out. What are you doing, Deltra?
I'm standing behind this stack of cages, and I want to topple them onto one of the apprentices.
Okay, that sounds like a brute melee roll.
Yeah, well, it's melee, but mostly I'm kind of just trying to. I saw that they were really concerned when the last one got thrown, so I think I want to use this to like. This is a
menace them and get them to freak out.
Yeah.
Okay, menace is a roll, so you can roll that.
I think that's under presence, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh.
Need 4s.
That's a zilch.
Zilch. So essentially, you knock it over, and they're not paying attention to it. I mean, they're so distracted. But you do probably open up a couple of these cages, and you will see some of these rats come out and are looking around. On the apprentice's action, and the rat's action. So these rats that you've knocked out of these cages by the apprentice, they leap. And rats shouldn't be able to leap this high because they're rats made of muscle. And they leap and they fasten themselves onto this apprentice. And you'll see he begins to scream, trying to throw them off, even as these rats dig into him. The other apprentice,
I just meant to scare him. Oh no!
Is grabbing his shard and running.
Oh no, he's not.
Okay. So let's come back to Rook. You're muted. Damn you, G+.
Yeah, I'm just going to tackle him. Tackle him. Yeah.
So let's have you do that melee roll for me.
Okay.
It doesn't take much to get him. He is just trying to get out of the way. He's clearly calling for help.
So I end up with 2.
Okay. So that's enough to knock him over and crack his head against something.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And when he falls, you'll see any other rat that's not attached to the other apprentice begin running for him.
Okay. I get out of the
Aka?
way of their dinner.
What do you want to do?
Well, so how hot is the situation now? Like, are we in danger of the rats now, or what?
You are afraid that once they're done with the apprentices,
They're going to
that
come for us.
clearly they're tormentors, that they're probably going to turn their attentions to you.
Mhm.
And it's probably about that time that you will get the whiff of the warning rose off back in the distance.
And to be clear, this is is our little escape hatch around here, like the little rear escape thing.
Given what he described, the doors at the end here should
Mhm.
lead out into another cavern and to the top of the waterfall.
Okay. And have we gotten what we came to do? Like, we didn't get Vanna, so that's a problem.
No.
But there's some cells here.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Is there a chance she's in here? Because I'll look. Let me see if she's in
Okay.
here. Yeah.
You will run over and you will see that in one of these cells, clearly pale, drawn, you can see a couple of puncture marks on her neck. You will see that Vanna is there. She's clearly been used, as a source of sustenance for this vampire. And you can get her out of there if you wish.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Is she able to walk on her own, or is she like too
No,
weak? Okay.
someone is going to need to carry her.
I'll sling her over my shoulder as best I can. And
Okay.
Quick out there, and I'll encrypt the passage. Dang it, I'm going to use that spell if it kills me.
Okay. So what are you doing, Deltra?
So these rats are essentially mindless, right? I mean, maybe a little bit more intelligent than another rat, but otherwise, I don't have any form of communication with them, do I?
Correct.
Okay.
No, they are violent, magically enhanced beasts.
These things are gross. I am getting out of this room.
Okay.
I'm going to go scope out the hallway, I think is my explanation for that.
You can run, get to the other end of the room. The rats that are screaming in the cages, you kind of have to dodge between them as they're swinging back and forth. Get over, throw the door open. You'll hear the kind of the sound of water, and you can see that there's a cavern here, and there's an interior spring that runs off. Great opening in the side of a cliff, and the water runs down and out, so you can get to there. The apprentices are being consumed. Rook, you want to encrypt this passage?
Yes, after Anka and Vanna have passed, I want to put an encryption up.
Okay, so you two will run to the end, following behind Deltra. As you do that, you will see guards hitting that door you came in on the far side of the lab, and they will see you. They also see the rats, and they're pulling out swords to kind of cut through the rats that are here to get to you. Let's have you roll for that encryption of the doorway.
Okay, so even if it's 8s, I still have 2 successes. If it's 6s, I have 3.
What do you think it looks like when you encrypt a doorway?
Essentially what it is they can see the passageway, and then it becomes this wall, but it's a wall with a weird symbol on it. Almost like the symbol for sign in or log in.
Okay. And I'm going to narrate this last couple of minutes here. We're going to kind of run to just you describing what you're doing. So, Aka, what does it look like as you're getting out? How does that look?
Well, so you're running through the cave, and I think I'm able to handle her fairly well, actually, because especially if she's a little drawn and weak, malnourished, right? So I'm just kind of booking it through the cave. I'm constantly looking back to make sure that that Rook and Deltra are going to be behind me, right? Like, but I'm just really focused on getting this girl out of here. Sure. And I get to the waterfall part, and I I'm not sure if she will survive the fall. That concerns me, right?
Right.
Because she's pretty weak. And so I think what I do is, I think I just I kind of clutch her to my chest, and I know that I'll be okay if a little bit bruised up, and I just kind of fall backwards.
All right. There's that scene, kind of get her braced, and you will fall. And of course, the next shot is from under the water of you,
Right.
your back hitting the water down below.
Hurts like hell. Right.
That absolute pain. Deltra, what does your escape look like here?
So even as Rook is encrypting the door, a couple loose rats are coming out in the hallway and kind of chasing after us. So I'm plinking them off with the crossbow and walking kind of backwards. And I get to the waterfall, and I kind of close my eyes, and I'm like, I can do this. I can do this. But then a gust of wind comes.
Okay.
I just fall whoa, and I kind of go tumbling down.
All right, tumble down the waterfall. It's not pretty as you go down. There, the arms flail as you fall. Okay. And what about you, Rook?
Oh, Rook is just yeah, and she's got that spell off. Guys. She just turns around and she kind of takes that long step down. She's grinning the whole way. She gets down there. She makes a dive. It doesn't even make the consideration that they wouldn't have made a successful dive, that they've fallen down there. She doesn't even look for them. She assumes that they're swam off. So hopefully she doesn't smack into any of them. But
awesome. And you made preparations. The scouts that you talked with, they are there immediately. You've told them that someone might be injured. They have blankets. They help you out of the water. They get you to these horses, and you will ride off into the night.
yes.
And I think that's where we'll stop.
Hey.
Seem reasonable?
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. So that was Cryptomancer. And there's some interesting stuff there. Let's do Roses and Thorns. Per Rich's advisement, we always start with thorns. So we end on the good note there. My thorns are sort of more meta for me as the GM playing through is to put things together in the module list at the end. I had to fill in a lot of things. There's a lot of stuff that's sort of unclear in there. Part of it is that I don't know what the PCs can do, and so I'm not sure how obstacles get overcome in here. But it was super fun to see that actually in play. So maybe my thorn is that the end adventure needs a little tuning on the last part. Other people's thorns about the game, about the system, about how I ran, anything?
I had to think of that. I had a really good time, so I wasn't really focused on. I'm just trying to remember I'm trying to think of last session too, things that were that I was remembering. I don't know. I don't know. If one of you guys wants to go first, go for it. I'm still kind of.
The only thing is I have a
Gathering
certain
my thoughts.
vagueness when something says blank ignores one botch sometimes, and I'm like, what does that mean? Also, I have no feeling for how these dice probabilities are. So when I say, I want to do this, I'm like, I have no idea what I can do. I have no idea. So
I really wish I had a table of, with this value of skill and with this difficulty, what are the chances of people succeeding? I would like to see those numbers because I'm really uncertain about that. It feels a little botchy.
I guess my only thorn, and it's really, really minor, is it did take me a while to find things on the sheet sometimes. The sheet is organized in a way that is probably the most logical way of doing it, but it's it's still just I feel like certain terms like sound really similar to one another, you know, which is kind of a thing I love. And then, there's just some of the terms are a little samey, and they're all divided up in these different ways. And but I think that would get better with.
Yeah,
I think it's just a practice issue. I don't think that's anything really.
But I agree with you.
Really the friction though. That was the only part I was like, okay, now I'm gonna look and find my thing. It's a small thing.
When I first looked at the sheets, I was like, whoa, okay, this sheet looks really hella complicated.
For how light mechanically the game truly is, it's a surprising number of like things, you know. So like especially when most of these things just fall along axes of like 2 or 3 numbers, you know.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of weird. But.
Michael, what about you? Anything?
I thought the game was awesome too, but I think things are a little fiddly. But even then, compared to like some of the more traditional games I've played, where the skill lists are like hundreds long, like this was like great compared to that. I think that maybe some of those like distinctions didn't need to be made. Like, do you really need to split agility or speed into agility and dexterity, and then split those two into like 4 different skills? Or could you just say you have a 4 speed, and if you do something that requires speed, there you go.
Yeah, that was kind of what I wanted to. But that's kind of where my thorn was. That's more precisely put, Michael. I think than what I was trying to say. But that said, I don't. You know, it wasn't. To me, it felt like okay. You know, boy, I've played way worse. More. You know,
Yes.
So like, I'm not. You know, like I'm fine. I'm cool with it. You know.
Oh, absolutely. So let's do roses. I will say I really enjoyed running this. You guys were amazing. And I'm going to steal something that Sherry told us. We after the last game, Sherry and I talked about this. One of the things I think is amazing is how well Jason and Michael, you got your character out on the table. You know, some people, they have a headcanon and think about, oh, my character's probably like this, but they don't bring it to the table. They don't go, let's go for it. Let's get out. Let's show it. You guys did, and it was so good.
Thanks.
Just so good. I can't say enough good things about that.
Thanks.
Thank you. Awesome. Yeah, my rose is sort of the reverse of that in a way, in that I appreciate you, Lowell, like allowing me to take my character, like to kind of develop those things, you know, because I think there were times when I was giving more color than was necessary for the moment, you know, but I enjoyed it. So I appreciate that you kind of helped, like made that space where you made it okay to kind of play with, you know, some of the way things looked and the way things behaved and the way things kind of functioned in the game. So,
and I love that because we don't have all that much color about what the world's like. There's some of it in the book, but we're trying to build it, and that really helped me get a grip on it with those descriptions. Yeah,
and I'll throw into just a bonus rose or whatever. I really just enjoyed the sort of like, I felt like a really good team cohesion between the three of us. Like I thought it was, you know, I was watching the movie in my head, and I was really like, and I was seeing the dynamics between the 3 characters, and they all kind of like fit a certain archetype, you know, and I was really into it. I thought I did a good job. So.
Oh yeah. Sherry?
You guys were awesome. So that was fun. And I would say that on the game side, the character sets that we had to choose from, I was impressed with how well they spread around problem-solving skills and talents. Every one of those characters I could have picked, and I saw multiple ways to solve the kinds of problems you would have in a heist or a caper thing. So I was very pleased. I thought that was really well set up. And I like that there is some color on the sheet. So that was kind of fun. I would look at it every once in a while when I was like not sure what I was going to do the next time. Even if I didn't end up using it, I went, oh yeah, I got that in case I need it. So, I had an awesome time, and I would happily play this game. I love the format of the capers and, essentially doing spy games and those sorts of things. I just love it.
That was super interesting, wasn't it? I don't think I've played, it's been a while since I played a fantasy game where the point was to like Shadowrun style infiltrate, right? Like that was super interesting to me. So
Michael?
I probably have 1,000 roses. This is really fun.
Yeah.
I definitely would like to echo Jason with the party dynamics, and I really thought each character had a lot of personality. I think part of that is due to the sheet, like Sherry said, that there's a lot of cool stuff there without being too concrete. There's wiggle room. But I want to commend you guys for really, bringing those to life, and not just doing it like it wasn't like, hey, here's me grandstanding and here's my character. Okay, now we'll go talk.
right, yeah.
I think we did a good job of, at least for the most part, trying to.
I was doing I'm glad you thought that, because I was, I always kind of play my characters a little big, and I was worried that I was trying to be really conscious of making sure that at least the things I was doing like tied into you guys, right? Like I didn't want it to ever feel like I'm off doing my own thing. So
yeah,
I was.
No, you're really good about doing that, and then bringing people in, about kind of getting their permission and then playing off them, even as you're throwing them things. It's just so good.
I think that's because I GM a lot. That's gotta be what it is, right? Like I think when you GM a lot, you kind of get those.
Well, the other thing is Michael did great at playing a quiet, retiring character, that it wasn't like I forgot about you. And usually it's really easy to do. That was
I agree. Kudos on that. Like, I mean, how many times have we had the ghost in Monster Hearts that's like, just not at the table for the whole time, I mean, like, I thought you did a great job of like letting that character's personality shine. Because they were withdrawn, right? Like it was not like in spite of. It was like it was on top of that, which I thought was really interesting. So.
Yeah, I think the only thorn for myself with it, I feel like I should have got her involved with the trio earlier in that session, because there was a lot of, I'm over in this old lady's house and now I'm over in the servant quarters and by myself. Maybe if we'd had a fourth player, we could have paired up better. I guess that can be hard with three. But,
no. Is maybe if we had more time in sessions.
Yes,
so that's the thing.
Well, and even with that, I mean, when I first saw that this game was like scheduled for like 2.5 hours, I was like, man, we have to learn a new game and like play a whole session in 2.5. I mean, like,
kudos, Lowell, for the way you rolled the game out. Like we hit the ground like running, like. And I think like all the prep you did was really, really good, like in that regard.
Appreciate that.
It was very like I appreciate that in a huge way. And this is something you and I have talked about before, right? Like maximizing your time, like say in a con slot, like you've got a real like tight press, for time. So it was instructive. I really appreciated it. So
I think that's so important is and it's actually for me to teach myself the system is I have to do that to distill it down and go, okay, what's going on, and go, okay, what do they need to know? What do I need to know? So that was fun. Here's the other thing is I will say there's a lot of other stuff in this game, a lot of long-term play ideas, stuff for building up networks and cells and investing in those. And
looks delicious.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. I will probably be bringing it to my face-to-face group to say this is one of our options for the future for at least one of the nights, because I like it enough for that.
Yeah, I think I'm going to pick up the book. I think it was in the bundle of holding that was just going, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I got that, so I think I have it waiting on me. But it's cool. At least
Sherry actually made me order the hardback cover as well. So,
and it's a lovely book to read through.
Yeah.
It's lovely. It's well written and well edited. I mean, maybe I'm not sure as a game text. I don't have to run it. I was just reading it for the pleasure of reading it, and it was lovely.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good.
And
It
for
didn't
a
read
first,
like a
first
dry-
product.
Yeah.
No, it didn't.
Didn't read like a technical manual for hacking or whatever.
No, it's very
Okay.
evocative.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I mean, yeah, very. And it's a decent description of how InfoSec works in that sense of the security and stuff. So if you didn't know how it worked, you'll know at least the basics after you
Right.
Right.
But-
You might
but-
go and change your router credentials now. Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Okay, well, I'm going to stop recording. I will post these videos up. I'll give you a heads up before I do that. Probably next week I'll post those up, and we'll have them out there. Thank you very much for playing.
Oh, thanks for
Jason,
running it.
pleasure to play with you again.
Yeah,
Michael?
Sherry, it was nice to meet you. Play with you.
It was really nice to meet both of you, and I would happily play with you guys again. Or more
Absolutely.
this. Either one.
All right. Well, good night, guys. Thank you
Good
very
night.
much.
Excellent
Thanks,
job,
Jim.
guys.
Bye.